Hey guys, welcome back. It's Maverick here, and today we're watching episode 18 of Code Geass. So, last episode certainly had some pretty interesting developments. I guess we can finally say that Lelouch and Suzaku are officially at odds with each other, because in the past it was kind of like temporarily, but now that Suzaku has been chosen as a Knight of Yuffie, well, let's see what Lelouch has to say about it, right? I'm really curious what his response is going to be to the entire situation. On the other hand, Suzaku doesn't exactly know of this yet, and you know, even though the princess was all like, yes, I'm gonna choose Suzaku and all that, I'm certain there's probably bound to be some backlash from the nobles, from the army, and heck, even from her sister Cornelius, right? So we'll have to see about that part. And then, you know, there's still tons of things going on. We've got Shirley's situation, you know, we still got Valeta's situation, and all so on and so forth. I mean, it's a mess. It's a mess. But let's just get into it and see what the focus is for this episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Two pups. I mean, they're not exactly mutually exclusive, are they? I don't know, I'm kind of question marking that part. So yeah, how is Lelouch going to treat this situation? Probably avoid Suzaku as much as possible. Then again, he hasn't used Geass on Suzaku yet, right? I'm really curious about the entire Valeta situation as well. And then I guess once Suzaku officially becomes the knight, you know, there's also the student council situation as well. I do like how it structures this story, and you know, it has multiple things progressing along at the same time, right? Which is all going to eventually come together or affect each other in some way. Alright. And yeah, I already see it. Like I said, there's no way for me to avoid the title. That's literally impossible. It's gonna be it. Yep. Well, typically you're supposed to like talk with them first before you know, you announce all this. I don't really think translating it as Royal Guard is appropriate there. Like, it's the same sentiment, of course. It's sort of like a direct command. A direct companion, direct. Okay, hold that thought. Oh. And here's the backlash. Is that the big thing that they need to discuss? They're really going with the entire, you know, medieval knighting. British traditions. Oh yeah, being knighted also means that you're actually... You're part of the... Well, would you say you're part of the nobility class? I don't know. Like, I don't know how much they are, actually. Oh. Awkward. Ooh. Okay. Man, they are not waiting at all. I mean, I definitely understand Reinhardt here, but they can't do it by assassination. They need to remove him. Yeah, this is what I was saying last episode, right? With this, you know, with doing that, there is now a new political faction within the entire Britannian Empire. The thought, what? Dress code committee. Nope. And Lucius gonna... Oh, no, not. I mean... Is he gonna be like, okay, work for me? Or is he gonna be like, let's marry? And knowing him, you can't really tell. Really? Oh. Oh, and an important visitor, eh? Is that what the Emperor was talking about over there? Or maybe something else? Yeah, they got a submarine now. Yeah, those two are relieved that they don't have to apprehend him through assassination. Or, I guess not really apprehend. Remove him by assassination, right? I mean, if he loses on a battlefield, he loses on a battlefield. Isn't this a little bit late to have a talk with him about this? So he actually wants to be a director. Yep. I mean, wasn't that kind of obvious? With their plans being leaked and all? Nope. Sniper team. Something tells me that the visitor that's coming here might also be bringing some firepower as well. Or at the very least... Oh, already here. Well, actually, you know what? All things considered, I think he might actually be captured here. Okay. So, I guess that's the firepower I was talking about. From the visitor. Boom, boom. Oof. Oh, really? Okay, so this is really avant-garde technology here. This dude. So their talk right now is oh. Okay, okay. Yeah, I was like, if they're listening way. But I mean, are the rest of the Black Knights and whatnot listening to this? Probably the visitor? Yeah. Wow, really? And I guess all royalty are trained in how to pilot nightmares. Hmm? And what? Who is this? Is this the visitor? Yeah. So I guess that's the visitor, right? Hello. Woof. Yep. So like I said, he was probably the one who ordered this. Damn, talk about advanced technology. Okay, we're finally getting to the more sci-fi parts of this. I'll see you guys after this. Well, okay, we are finally getting some real sci-fi stuff here, right? Like, I know we have the nightmares and all, they're mechas, they're advanced mechas, but you know, they've always, especially in up to this point in the series, they've always still more or less used conventional weapons, right? Still, you know, they are more advanced, if you will, than our normal military stuff, but see, a lot of the weapons that they're using and whatnot are still conventional armaments and so on and so forth. But now we got like floating ships, floating battle fortresses. We got these force fields and whatnot, and it's really getting to have a lot of the more, you know, the more advanced sci-fi stuff, if you will, and that's definitely hype, because then we can see some really powerful weapons and so on and so forth. And not only that, but we also have a little bit more the development in terms of the more supernatural kind of side of things, I guess you could say, in regards to C2 and all that. So I'm actually assuming that the guy at the very end there, you know, I mean, that was pretty much obvious. He's also royalty, and to be coming in such secrecy and whatnot, I thought it was pretty obvious that he's probably also, you know, of one of the royal lines as well. And this dude, like, who knows? Maybe he's potentially even the first in line right after the emperor. Although vice versa, I don't think that the emperor probably actually designates heirs or whatnot, and it's more like a you guys just fight it out and whoever wins wins, right? I think it's more of a that kind of situation. Is he actually the Shizinel or whatnot that the emperor was talking about? Not quite sure. I mean, I would assume him to be. But I guess we'll know more about that in the next episode, since his name was not actually revealed here yet. And then that's going to be some fun stuff later, as soon as, you know, Lelouch gets to talk with him and so on and so forth. I mean, we'll talk more about that later. Beyond that, though, like I said, this we finally get into I mentioned this last episode as well, right? Yuffie making this decision to make Suzaku her knight definitely announces to the entire empire that she is building her own faction now. It's been hinted as much by Cornelia as well. You know, in order to really choose this path, to make the changes you want to change, you know, you're gonna have to do your own thing as well, right? So in the past, Yuffie might be always considered like part of Cornelius's faction or something of that sort. But with this, you know, I think. No, it'll depend on what Cornelius wants to do, right? Does she want to support her little sister, or is she also going to take, you know, they are going to be split factions or something of that sort? That's definitely something to also see as well, and how does Yuffie use that in relation to all her other siblings and whatnot, and all those in line for the throne. You know, that is definitely a new development here that I'm sure is going to continue in the future, and then we'll get to more of the, you know, political games as well. Suzaku's side, that's more straightforward, right? He's just a rebellion organization. He's a terrorist, you know, rebels, terrorists, kind of the same thing. But you know, that's very clear cut, right? Now, having this sort of political game with Yuffie and all the various other royals, now that is another thing entirely. So we got that to look forward to, and that kind of development, right? So beyond that, though, what probably the most interesting thing to me about this episode is definitely the appearance of the Emperor, and you know, what that specific scene implies, right? So the thought elevator, or whatever that's called, that's definitely reeking of a, you know, instead of sci-fi, more so magical or mystical, fantastical kind of stuff. And not only that, but the way that the Emperor actually was shown there, and how it seemed that he was talking to someone, right? And that we don't see who he's talking to or what he's talking to, but it's clear that probably he's actually reporting to that dude or that, you know, whatever the person is that he's talking to, right? So that means that there is a higher power beyond the Emperor, like, I don't know, even like a god-like power or spirit-like power or a deity-level power or something like that. And, you know, the Emperor is not just all that he seems, right? There is an ulterior goal for all this, and the Emperor is not, in fact, a big final boss of everything. I think that's what it's implying here. I'm definitely sort of just you know, trying to suss things out a little bit, but I think that's what's being referred to here, and it kind of makes sense, right? Especially considering that we have this situation with C2. You know, there's clearly some mystical stuff within this anime as well, so it's not too far-fetched to believe that there's probably someone with more fantastical or mystical kind of powers even above the Emperor, right? It definitely gives off that kind of vibe and situation here. So, yeah, that's probably the biggest, to me, the biggest sort of teaser amongst all this. The rest of the episode was, fairly straightforward, right? No, I think there's not too much to comment on about all this. Now, I guess one of the interesting things here is to consider whether or not Lelouch would have used Geass at the very end, if this, you know, sort of, if this sort of situation did not happen, right? Now, I've expressed my thoughts about how Geass should be used before, and, you know, a lot of you guys have mentioned how, you know, Lelouch has his own values, his own morals and whatnot, his own insistences, and why he's not just gonna use Geass willy-nilly. Certainly, I expected him to not choose to just use Geass on Suzaku route as well. But, you know, I do think that at the very end, probably, you know, even without this dire situation happening and whatnot, I feel like in the end, Lelouch probably would have chosen to use Geass as well on Suzaku, if only to bring him out of harm's way, right? That's the basis of his reasoning for using it on Shirley, because he's trying to push Shirley out of the situation and make it so that she doesn't fall under this harm anymore, right? Like being involved with Lelouch and whatnot. So I do think that, you know, when push comes to shove, Lelouch probably also knows that if he doesn't do something about this, with how stubborn Suzaku is and all that, there is going to be the very likely chance that he's going to have to kill Suzaku. So I'm sure that in Lelouch's mind, you know, forcefully using Geass on him and removing him from the equation is a much better alternative to actually killing him, you know, directly or indirectly, if you will. So that's just me. I feel like that's probably what's going to happen at the very end, even without this. Now, considering that this situation did happen, did Lelouch manage to use Geass on Suzaku at the very end there and whatnot? And, you know, because of this situation, I think it's pretty clear that probably his use of Geass is not probably could have isn't as how can I put this? Isn't as well thought out as it could have been, considering the extreme circumstances and whatnot. So I don't know. I'm actually still really curious, like how exactly they can get out of that situation. Because even with all that being said, right? Like how exactly is he supposed to? Are they supposed to get out of that situation, even with him Geassing Suzaku and whatnot? So I'm sure they won't die. They're like the two main characters of the series. But anyways, it'll be interesting to see how they get out of that one. And I like this kind of development. I definitely like this kind of development. We're getting more and more onto the actual world stage. We're not just putting ourselves in Japan anymore, like this sort of local rebellion, local fight and whatnot. It's really we're getting global now, and it's really affecting the entire empire. We've got many more characters from the empire appearing and being involved in all this, and to me that's a good thing, because that's really expanding the horizons of this anime and expanding the stage and whatnot, and that's what's gonna make things fun. So anyways, that's it for episode 18 of Code Geass. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.